is it?
Robbed again.
Silver fox. Well, at least this time he left his mark.
What is it?
A timber wolf?
Well, I thought they'd all been hunted out of here.
Well, they're strange animals, Israel. Sometimes they'll show up right in the middle of a new settlement just because they lived there when it was forest.
Do they go away again?
One way or another.
It's kind of sad in a way.
It's worse for us if they live long. Looks like he's heading for that old Indian burial ground.
Pa, some folks say that they're haunted.
Some folks will say most anything.
Pa, what is it? Is he alive?
I'm sorry. Man, he's come a long way with the look of those moccasins. Don't touch it. It's his tribal totem. If you touch it, they think it loses its Orinda.
Orinda?
Yeah, it's a kind of sacredness. I think it has kind of a sacred power.
Was he Cherokee?
I don't know. This workmanship, this inlay, it's a tribe I don't know.
Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man. He was brave, he was fearless, and as tough as a mighty oak tree. From the coonskin cap on the top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the rippin'est, roaring'est, fighting'est man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. Daniel Boone.
My, you are hungry.
I'm sorry. Well, thank you. That's real friendly.
He's complimenting the cooking.
In Indian style.
Thank you.
He's some money too.
In running water shall we be made clean.
How'd you know what to do?
Oh, it's pretty much the same among all the tribes.
It's almost the same in the Bible. Do your people come from near here? Ask him in Cherokee.
Cherokee.
Did you understand what he said?
Oh, just a word now and then. Sound a little bit like Algonquin.
Where are they from?
Oh, here, there, everywhere. I heard that there was a tribe that lived here once that used that dialect, but they disappeared before my time.
Maybe the old man's come home.
Like the wolf, where the forest used to be.
I picked up a little Algonquin once in Canada. I'll see how it works out.
We have to know.
Hope it doesn't turn out like broken French to Natalia. Nioke Wanukse Notese.
Piqua.
Piqua. Wanakte Etese Daniel Boone. Rebecca. Israel.
Tamanun.
Tamanu. What's his name?
Tamanun. Neki.
Family.
Neke. Nemusak. Ne Piqua. No ne.
I think he said that he has no friends, no family, that he's the last of his tribe. His tribe definitely is Pequot. He says he's last on the living earth.
Well, ask him how long he'll be staying here.
No man knows how long he will remain where Manitou placed him, or who will go with him when he leaves.
How come you acted like you didn't understand English?
Because he wanted to know what we really think. Because he's suspicious of us. Like maybe we should be suspicious of him.
Dan, he's old and tired. Now, your questions confused him.
You know how sick he was when we found him.
Tommy Noon. He will sleep in the barn.
I have learned to rest on the bare ground.
Israel, why don't you throw down some hay for tonight and pick up a blanket on the way out?
Yes, ma'am.
Israel?
Yep. There'll always be a place for you at our table.
May you be safe under the eye of Manitou until the very last.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Manitou, give strength to my weapon.
That's the finest bow I ever seen.
It is the last.
Oh, may I come in?
You're welcome.
You really made this into an Indian house, didn't you?
Piqua.
You're right. Pequot, I should have said. Balsam. Must make sweet sleeping.
The Pequot had a sweet story. There was a woman, and when her children cried because the hard rocks bruised their bones, she made them a bed out of her soft heart.
That is a sweet story. I'll go get you another load.
Pick it up.
Oh, I didn't mean...
Take it.
You mean I can?
Dan, come out here a minute.
It's too much for me. Crime and antler. I'll grow into it someday.
Before Manitou welcomes you to his heart.
Thank you.
You are Kesigabeta, a small spirit, very dear.
Now, are you still suspicious of that poor old man?
Well, he's a lot stronger than he looks. You see how easily he drew on that bow?
I see how fond he is of Israel.
I'll go get your balsam.
Nothing is hid from Manitou. This too he must know of me. I cannot battle as a warrior, for I am one. The white man is a multitude. I must be wily as the great owl, who seems to sleep and strikes in terrifying silence. Their cattle will disappear like shadows in the night. Their farms will burn. They will not know who hurled the brand. They and theirs will die, not dreaming by whose hand. I promise this.
That pile over there, not me. You'll have to wait your turn.
What happened?
What ain't?
Throw me into the freight wagon.
Oh, the thing's hexed. Spent half the night loading it up to get over to Salem. Got 3 miles down the Licking River Road and then spent the rest of the night trying to haul her back here again. Well, don't look at me like that. My work's good and you know it. No, put it over there. You'll have to wait your turn. I swear if this keeps up, I'm gonna have to buy myself an apprentice.
We're getting to have us a real big town here.
There was a town here once before.
But there couldn't have been. Nobody was here.
No, that's right, Israel. There once was an Indian town, I reckon you'd call it, built right here where Boonesboro stands.
Well, I never thought of that. What did it look like?
Feminine?
I do not live.
He means he wasn't living at the time. Of course, it was long before we came. And what was left of it, I guess, is buried deep under the earth. But the site was well picked. Plenty of water, protected from the weather, easy to defend. We're thankful to them for showing us the way. I reckon that wasn't taken as kindly as it was meant, son.
I'll stay out here with him. I think he likes talking to me. And he's taught me so many old ways. He says I'm more than half Pequot now.
Saltpeter, flour, and Raymond. Why does everybody want everything all at once? I can't understand. Well, Daniel, what calamity brings you here?
Oh, Cincinnatus, Rebecca's got her mouth set for some winter stockings, and she's misplaced her knitting needles, if you can call that a calamity.
Well, there's some under the counter there. Look in a box there. I think you'll find them if you dig around.
If things are normal, she will have found hers by the time I can get back home.
Now, if I know what's going on around here, she won't.
What is going on around here, Pasco?
We're on the downslide of a bad luck year.
The downside of a what?
You're a grown man. You know some years are good, some are bad. This one was born bad.
Cattle straying that never left the pasture before. Tools gone from where they set since the year one.
My own well cover split. Lord himself only knows how. You know what good care I take of my gear. An opossum falls in and poisons the water.
A possum?
A most sure-footed beast in any ordinary year.
How can any sane man look at that?
Well, Ma always tells me to look at the bright side.
There ain't no bright side to possum poison in your well, young Boone.
Sure there is, Pasco. You can always bring a barrel over and borrow some from my well.
Yeah, you wouldn't laugh, Daniel, if you had to keep this store. I'm telling you, it's been calamities like this till I just don't know which ends up.
There's a smell of evilness aboard. That's sure.
Feminine?
Hold on. With all the bad luck we got going, how come you let this living rainbow stay on your place?
Are you inside your door? Aren't you scared?
I'm scared of superstition in the minds of little men.
You let the bad luck fall on you, you'll see.
Hammerman, how would you like to have a spot of my best Blue Thunder?
Whiskey is not for red men. It thickens our mind, loosens our tongues.
How true, old-timer. A man alone's got to stand guard in his own two wits. Israel, would you like some licorice? Go ahead, Hammerman.
Oh, thank you, Cincinnati.
Man old enough to be my grandpa sucking on a licorice stick.
Pasco, here is your line. Now, why don't you go home and get that possum poison out of your system?
Good. Now. Careful. The colors must be pure.
Oh, I guess I almost ruined it then.
The young ones learn from the grandfathers before they learn from the spirits. That's it. Enough.
Shall I fill up the hole now?
Not yet.
Oh, yes, giving thanks. I forgot.
Kishakima, Manitou. Now. Now put that in.
Now we have everything but green.
Come. There is green.
got sharp eyes.
When I was a young man. Now I can see only when the sun is high. Once it begins to set, I'm as blind as a...
As blind as now in the daytime? Oh, I didn't mean to offend your sacred totem, sir.
Would you like to dig it out?
Can I? Would it be all right? Pa tells me that the green shows that there's copper in the rock.
The ancestors knew how to melt it out. The copper bracelets made music on their arms.
Gee, I never heard.
Do not forget, it is the knowledge of our tribe.
No, sir, sure won't.
Enough. We do not waste what Manitou has given us.
How come we always cover up the colors afterwards?
They were not meant for the white. We do not want the enemy to discover them.
Well, what enemy?
There is one more thing that I must have. It is white, and very hard to find.
We've already got a white. Don't you remember?
What I seek is different.
Well, maybe it doesn't grow around here.
It grows, Kasiga Beta, it grows. I have found it.
Can I dig it out?
Keep away from it. Forgive me, little spirit. This white is different from anything on living earth. I cannot speak its name.
You mean it's sacred too?
You must not touch it.
Well, is it all right if I watch?
It would be better if you did not know.
Show him the colors we found. He used to live with the Indians. He knows all about this stuff.
Well, I know a little bit, not all.
Not as much as you, of course. See this green one? I dug it out all by myself, but I had to borrow your chisel.
Kasiga Beta was a help to me.
His ancestors even knew it was copper. They used to make bracelets out of it.
Copper? I knew some of your people smelted a little gold.
It was a long time ago. Before.
Well, thank you for showing me. Well, here's a pigment I've never seen before.
It's very sacred. Like the totem. Only special people can touch it.
Well, I reckon that's why I didn't know about it. Sorry, Tamanoon. Ready, son? Oh, by the way, Rebecca wanted me to remind you about supper.
I will surely be with you this night.
Come along now if you like.
First, I must pray. I think you will be wasted after all, for my time on living earth is growing short. For this that was not made by Manitou, forgive Manitou. For with this, I will bring terror to white hearts. They will remember that once there were the Pequot.
We thank thee for this food and our safe home. Amen.
Oh, young man. Oh, you didn't do a very good job. I think you better go out and wash up again.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Paul, there's a fire out here.
Oh. It must be the Pasco's place.
Hey, by the sudden way it burns, it must be Pasco's barn.
Oh, I hope they got the milk cow out. What with a baby barely 2 years old, another on the way.
And there's another one.
And 3 fires at one time?
It's not lightning. There's not a storm cloud in the sky.
Wow. It's terrifying. It's horrible.
Oh, it's terrible, Daniel.
I just finished pulling down my horse's hay. I give him a good measure of oats in the evening. And I filled his bucket for his drink. I hauled that water clear from the creek, believe it or not. I still got possum poison in my well.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I put that bucket right there in the stall, just about there. He must have kicked it over when he spooked, or maybe when I let him out. It was a close thing for both of us.
The same with me, except I was already in the house when mine began to burn.
I could feel the heat of hell by the time I put his blindfold on. That fire come up so fast and hot. And you still doubt this is a bad luck year?
A little more than yesterday.
With my barn in ashes?
Yours and mine and Oxy James here. He come close to having his house go, too.
3 in all. And you still doubt?
Well, one, I'd say with this bad luck. 2 is something I wouldn't argue. But 3 barns in one night, I'd have to say shows the hand of man in it.
I've been close to thinking the same thing.
That Rainbow Indian of yours.
Well, he's a frail old man. A playmate for Daniel's son.
Well, if I can fix this onto him, he's not going to get much older.
Well, I don't think it could have been him.
Because you didn't think of it.
Oh, I thought about it. I thought about it when Joe Bagg's old cow broke an oak bar strong enough to hold an ox and ran off with her calf. And I thought about it again when your well cover just happened to break and a possum fell in your well.
But 3 fires in one night raised your doubts.
Tamenund was in my house a mile away when those fires broke out.
To say nothing of the others a half an hour away in different directions, and all of them going up at the same time.
Were there any signs around?
That renegade wolf that ate up your trappings. He only killed a calf and I nailed up his hide. Here, my whole barn's in ashes. And you stand around asking questions?
Human signs, I mean.
Well, you're the big tracker. Look around.
Well, there's nothing much left to see. Ashes. Just ashes.
What's that?
Oh, it's just something melted by the heat.
Well, let's go.
This is all the dirty varmint left of a good barn.
Oh, no different than mine.
Nothing left to do but build him up again.
Well, let's get on over to Oxy's house and figure on the barn raising.
Go ahead, I'll be along.
All right. Come on.
You finished your schoolwork.
Well, it's hard to keep your mind out with all that's going on. Who do you think done it?
Do your best.
Charles I was beheaded in 1649 in front of the banquet house, which in happier days... Oh! What about those fires? What caused them?
Let your father be, Israel. Kept your supper warm, Dad.
Oh, don't bother, Becky. Mrs. Grace fed us.
Oh? What kept you so long?
Oh, mostly figuring out the order of the barn-raising bees.
And everybody needed to be first.
Now we finally had to draw straws.
Get your cup of hot tea.
Pa, what caused the fires? Was everything all right?
You know, I have an idea. It's just about your bedtime.
Well, Pa, it's still early.
Israel, mind your father.
Yes, ma'am.
Good night, son.
Good night, Pa.
He's been nearly out of his skin all night to hear about those fires.
It's what I want to talk to you about, alone.
You mean about the fires?
Not necessarily the fires, but about who might have started them. I want you to take a look at this.
What is it?
Well, look what's on it.
An owl?
Tamanun's totem.
Did you show this to the other men?
I didn't dare. They were just waiting to send for Judge Lynch.
Lynch? Hang a man without trying him? And this doesn't prove he's guilty.
Becky, people are too angry and afraid to wait for proof. Wells have been poisoned, cattle have disappeared. Oxy Grace was almost killed when his barn burned down.
Well, Tamanun couldn't have done it. He was right there at that table when the fires broke out.
That's what I told them. And I found this thing.
And then?
Well, I want to talk to him.
You mean accuse him?
Now, that depends on what I find out.
Dan, by what black magic can he be in 4 places at one time? Oh, and tonight at supper, he was so old and weary, so bleak my heart broke for him. I think he sensed he was going to be accused. Because he's an Indian.
Oh, Becky, if he can convince me that he's innocent, I'll stand by him. But if he can't, I'll be here to see that he gets a proper hearing.
Dan? Dan, now you tell Israel. Tamanun's his friend, and he's been on tenterhooks all night.
Israel? Israel? Israel?
Is he asleep?
He isn't even there.
He overheard and he went to warn Tamanun. Oh, don't punish him. Tamanun is his friend.
His friend just may have burned down 3 barns.
Dan, we don't know that.
The Indian's gone and Israel with him.
Indians again. Dan, you are upset. Oh, look what you made me do. Dan, it's burning. How can the water burn? It's like the one you brought home. What is it?
It's an earth salt of some kind.
Where would Tamanun get it?
Where he got these, he dug them up. They're all around. They bubble up through the rocks. I might have known what it was if he'd let me look. I think it's the same thing the medicine men use in ceremonies.
Oh.
All he had to do was plant this where he knew it'd get wet. Then he could be a dozen miles away, as innocent as a newborn lamb, with us as witnesses when it finally burst into flames.
But why? We haven't done anything to him.
Maybe in his eyes we did. I have no friends. I have no family. I'm the last Pequot on living earth. All the rest are over there in the burial ground or wherever they were driven to.
We're living on their land.
This used to be wolf land, too, once, Becky. But if a wolf comes back, he gets killed.
But Dan, Taman's a man.
And Israel is our son.
Sure is sharp. See to get through?
A little.
Come on, take my hand. We're all right now.
We are in the eye of Manitou, we two.
You tired yet?
I am still strong.
It'd be almost light if we were out in the open. Well, you can see now that it's open country from here on. Goodbye. I hope we meet again sometime. Surely have liked knowing you.
No, Kisikabeta. You will stay with me
But I can't, sir. My folks.
until the whites know who I am, and the memory of the Piqua will burn in their guilty dreams. Then I will send you to live forever in the setting sun, for you are no longer one of them. You are Kisikabeta, the little spirit. I have made you a Piqua, and Manitou will cherish you.
No.
Kitchewewis, they say in our language. The great owl who strikes when his foe thinks he is asleep. Father and brother to our tribe. Come now. You will soon rest.
Where are you taking me?
In the last days of our battles for our land, the warriors who remained alive kept off a white army from this high place until thirst and hunger slew them all.
Will my paw find a way up there?
You are a true Piqua. Strong.
What's it for?
Learn from your grandfather. Enough to follow, but not enough to make him suspicious.
But that's a trap for my paw! But paw could get killed!
The god post is still strong in Pequot earth. A few steps more.
No, paw, don't!
Israel! Israel! In fear, lest your ancestors in the setting sun be shamed.
I do not fear you, white enemy.
Does a warrior hide behind a child?
Come up and take him from my hands.
Israel, don't move!
You came with your rifles in your hand, and our strong bows were only children's toys. We said, share our land, and with your rifles you stole it. Your rifles hunted us like animals until our seed was dead, and our remnants slunk out from our own land. This bow is my rifle. The hunted animal fears death.
No, please, don't!
Sigabeta, grandson, we Pequas are not white. Oh! Now we are two men. We are alike. My years on living earth are gone. Your lifeblood is flowing from your wound. Our place is with the spirits now. Between us, Manitou will judge. Grandson. We follow the last bow into the eye of Manitou.
No, no! No!
Grandson.
Yes, Tom? Yes, grandfather.
I will remember you.
Grandfather! Grandpa.
Say what he taught you, Israel.
Spirit, my grandfather, you are free now of the living earth. You are with the spirits of you are with the spirits of our ancestors, where the land is broad and free as Manitou made it. Be happy, grandfather.